Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I greet you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's been quite a long time off, and I really have missed so many of you. I have missed the insults. I've missed the abuse. I have missed the love from genuine people, true members of our community. Missed, to read your comments, and so I am here today. I've been able to do two videos that you probably may not have watched. If you have not, see them and get them watched. But on this in this video, let us address some important matter, a very important matter to so many. I probably would not have been doing this video now, but for the sake of those that actually need to know and need to understand, we have to do this. Now, I've been surprised. And really, I've been surprised. If you have followed me for like 4 years, 3 years, or at least 2 years, you would have understood who I am. Now, some persons who are coming across our channel and probably because of me criticizing their pastors was what brought them to my channel, and they are so angry about it, and in their heart of hearts, they have wished that something evil happens to us. But to the glory of God, nothing has happened. And so now there has been things about the place where I fellowship, and I've been receiving some private messages and very, very dark messages, very annoying messages. And unfortunately, some persons who are sending those messages happen to be pastors. And so you ask yourself, what is the future of the church? If you have wicked men and women parading themselves as ministers and Christians. And I gave my life to Christ in April 4, 1993, and I have followed the Lord. In those years, in those days, the kind of Christianity we have today is not the kind of Christianity that I was brought up to know. You see, the Bible tells us something about mourning, that we should identify with those who are mourning and also identify with those who are celebrating. Now, mourn with those who are mourning and rejoice with those who are rejoicing. That is the commandments of the Lord through the scriptures. But I find out that don't worry, we are going to address the sacrifice and the rituals, how, the general overseer of the Lord Chosen Charismatic Revival Movement sacrificed his wife. You will get the details in this video, so that when you want to tell the story, you will tell it well, how he sacrificed his wife. After this, I will do 2 more videos on these trends, and I will let it rest. And a lot of people think or thought I will shy away from it, or that I'm afraid, to a kind of speak about it. Now, I want you to take a very good look at what you're seeing. Now, some persons who don't know what transpired and who are not even around and available to know what happened will pick up on things they don't know. And this is part of the reason why sometimes when I have some matters, some accusations, matters of accusations and allegations against some individuals and some pastors, I take it very, very carefully, because I know that people can be so devious. I know that people can be so wicked and inimical, in the way they handle things and the things they say. Now, I myself have gone through some form of accusations. I've been accused of stealing church fund. Yeah, I've been accused of stealing church fund by pastors myself. So when I play safe on matters and the incidents that I don't know about, we only see them on social media, I know I'm doing that based on experiences. Apart from myself, I've also known that people can accuse an innocent man of what he has not done. And having said that, you see, I also know that people can be wicked and do certain things for certain reasons. All right. I never wanted to do this before. I never wanted to talk about this incident before, but, so that it will not be, and not because I'm afraid of anything, not because I am shying away from the responsibility of dispensing the truth, but it is only those who are very close to the ministry knows how painful the death of the wife of the general overseer of the Lord Chosen, has been with the family and the ministry at large, and even people who are not part of the ministries, those whose life a woman touched in her lifetime. So if you understand that, you will understand why it was a low key. Now, let us address the issue that the pastor was celebrating, because I listened to a woman, who also has a channel, and I listened to some person. Somebody called me as well, and the person who called me, I want to give it to him. He was reacting from what he heard from social media, that the pastor whose wife died was kind of celebrating. And from there, they jumped to the fact that it was only rich men that were invited. People like us who are not rich, like Kubana and Imoni and the governor and His Excellency Peter Obi, people who, like us who are not up to that, levels, were not invited. And that was a very big lie. Now, number one, to start with, if that burial was announced, I want you to understand if it was announced the way it was, because some persons were saying, where are the general overseers of other ministries? Yes, the general overseer of Deeper Life Bible Church was ably represented by one of his senior pastors. The general overseer of the Mountain of Fire ministries was also represented by one of his pastors. Now, you cannot tell a man who is doing the program of the burial of his wife who to invite. And the brother Lazarus of the Voice of the Cross and his son and wife, they also graced the occasion. The governor of Bayelsa State came as a spiritual son of the general overseer of the Lord's Chosen Charismatic Revival Movement. His Excellency Peter Obi was there at the service of songs and was there in the burial proper. And if you have watched the video, if you have seen the video very well, you will see Peter Obi consoling the last son of the pastor of the Lord's Chosen. So now, the fact that we saw rich men gathered. Now, when the brother who called me was talking, I asked him a question. And you who are complaining, who are making these statements, I want to ask you, because even me, at my little level, when I buried my mom, when my mom, was buried, yes, there were canopies for everybody who came. But then I had a VIP for close persons that I wanted to entertain in a certain place. And so some persons were attended to, depending on the crowd. Some persons were attended to where they found seat, where they were given seat. And some of those special guests that came were taken to the VIP where they sat down, and they didn't have to be with the multitude yet in the same compound. Now, a lot of us are Africans and we are Nigerians. If people who are saying these things are other African people, it will be understood. But before I go there, let's return to us as a people, as Christians. When TB Joshua died, many people celebrated the death of a man. No matter how evil a person might be or how evil we think a person is, it is unfortunate for any man to celebrate the death of another person, to the extent that a certain pastor announced it gleefully to his congregation that TB Joshua was dead, and he shouted hallelujah. Now, why celebrate the death of another man when you yourself know that you don't even know when you will die? Who knows who will be the next person after the one that is being buried at this present time? Nobody knows the next person. So why must you rejoice at the death of a man, or the death of a woman, or the misfortune of another person? Now, one of the persons who have made these very, very malicious statements happens to be, a person who also has lost someone so close, to her. A lot of persons who have lost persons in their families, got involved in maligning person that they don't actually, saying things that they don't actually know. You know why I didn't want to do anything about this video, on this before? Was because I will sound defensive. And unfortunately, I hate to do that. I'm not the spokesperson of the church. And so I'm not speaking for the church. I'm speaking for myself based on what I know about this. Someone who saying that the pastor, the husband of the woman that died, that he was celebrating the death of his wife. You don't know anything. Do you know when that woman died? That woman died 40 months ago. And for the pain of the death, the man had prayed, cried and prayed nights and day, organized prayers for God to bring back his wife, the woman he called his own pastor. Okay, you want to see him break down and cry tears. You see, people don't understand. People don't understand. There is nobody that wishes to marry twice in life. But if fate has allowed that and God has allowed it to be, nobody can stop that. Meanwhile, he's not the first pastor whose wife is dying, who is burying his wife, or for the second time. At least the general overseer of lands had also buried 2 wives. That does not make him a ritualist. It doesn't make him an occultist. I know 2 women who have married 2 husbands. The 2 of them died. And there was a woman in the Bible that was said to have married 7 brothers, and the whole of the 7 brothers died. How ritualistic was the woman? How occultic was the woman? When they told Jesus the story, Jesus, who should know more than any of you, never accused the woman of being evil. He only went ahead to answer them the question that they asked. So now, returning to the video, you saw rich men, you saw Obi Kubana. Who took the video? Was it the church media that took that video, or it was Obi Kubana's phone that was used to record that video? So who do you think Obi Kubana would record? He would begin to record people that are outside of his clique? I don't know. I do not think so. And the notion that it was a celebration, the notion that it was a setup that was not sober at all, not true. I really want to be gracious. I want to allow God to have his way in my heart, because I feel so sad that people can be so heartless. Even when you don't like a person, please don't celebrate the misfortune of. When Suleiman lost 7 people in his entourage, lots of Christians were like, he has claimed to have power. Why did he not stop the death? Why did he not raise them up? If you want to be sincere, I've made videos on this and I condemned all of them, including that of TB Joshua. I don't believe in TB Joshua. Don't believe in Suleiman. I don't. But we must be Christians. You don't rejoice over another person's misfortune. When David was being chased to death by Saul, now a certain young man thought that him coming to tell David that he was one that cut off the head of Saul, that David was going to applaud him and give him promotion. Meanwhile, he lied. David cut off his head. He commanded that his head should be cut off. Now, it is not necessary. You don't like the person, you don't like the person. You don't believe in the person, you don't believe in the person. Even your closest and your worst enemy, you don't have to celebrate misfortune around the person. And you don't have to waste something that you don't know. I was in the burial. I'm not rich. I'm not in Obi Kubana's class. That same compound where they took that picture, I was there. I was standing face to face to Peter Obi and the governor of Bayelsa State. I was there. So many people like me were there. Now, there is something that we must not deny. Don't be a hypocrite. When you organize a personal event, now, it is not true that there are no persons that you want to entertain inside your parlor. It is not true that there are no persons that you want to bring. Some will even come into your bedroom depending on the relationship that you share with those persons. And meanwhile, looking at this pastor now, with the way he was, talking to the guests, does he look like somebody that was happy? A man that broke down the service song, a very strong man, but he broke down. His manliness and his strength gave way to emotions. He believed that the wife was going to come back even till the time she was lowered into the grave. That was when his belief, was submitted to the will of God. So I want you to understand that what your ideas are of the celebration that you saw, you as a person, be sincere to yourself. If you have not had an occasion in your life where you invited many people to come and a lot of people came, you fed everybody, but there were those that you specifically treated differently. Now, must pastors not have a life because they are pastors? They shouldn't have their own privacy because they are pastors. I am a social media person. I keep saying this and some persons don't believe me. I'm not a social media person. I hardly post things. I have a Facebook account, I have TikTok account, I have Instagram account, I have Facebook page and group, but I hardly post things because I'm not a social media person. If I was a social media person, I could have brought out my phone and also stood beside P2B or very close to him as well, and him myself and himself. But that was not the occasion. Even if I was a social media person, it wasn't the occasion. The occasion was a very sober occasion. It was a terrible time. It was a time of sorrow and pain. And that is why, except if the church has posted that video, it is not, I've not found it on the church website. As a matter of fact, when I found out about this, I called one of the brothers in the media department. I was like, who posted these things? He said, they were not. It was Obi Kubana's video. He did it himself, or somebody who filmed him did it for him. They posted it. Right. Now, somebody was saying, the person that could raise the dead, the person who has all the power to do all the miracles that we are seeing and all that and all that and all that. My friend, when it is the will of God, you cannot do anything about it. Jesus was a cousin to John the Baptist. John the Baptist was a cousin to Jesus. And John the Baptist thought that Jesus would come and deliver him, or Jesus would even do some miracle. Wherever Jesus was, he could bring him out. But John came to the end of his life. And so when John sent people to Jesus and asked him, are you the person or should we look for another? Because John was already getting disappointed and offended in Jesus. Jesus left John, and John died in the hands of Herod because his time to go came. His time to go came. You wouldn't understand, just because we are in a time where so many people are abusing ministries and the people are doing things that are not normal. And so we now classify everybody as Satanists, everybody as ritualists, everybody as occultists. Nobody is of God anymore. But you think you are a Christian, right? You think you are a child of God, right? If you think you are a child of God, why will you think that every other person out there is fake? Isn't it funny? And somebody is saying that because of the message of the general overseer of the Lord Chosen, that a lot of people have died, they will tell people not to go to hospital. Not true. The church has a hospital. Within the church premises, there is a hospital. And like I said, I'm not speaking for the church. But I know a lot of you will call me names and insult me and abuse me. But it is okay. I just have to say this, that it is wicked for anybody to tarnish the name of a person, to mock someone who is suffering heartbreak, heartache. And even you wanted to know, why not find out properly? I wouldn't say why didn't you come? Because obviously, many of the persons who even attended the burial didn't know it was the burial. Now, it was something that was reluctantly done because the desire to see this woman live was so strong. Prayers were made up until that day that she was buried. Prayers were still being made by some brethren, and expectations were still there that God could raise her and bring her back. Talk of the persons she gave scholarship. And these are the things that you will not see anywhere. Saying this now. A lot of women, that she was their life support. Now, those people, the goodwill of those people, their tears and their prayers, and her children and the husband, I can't tell you anything because I'm not speaking for. I just want you to understand that it breaks my heart. See that Christians are this depraved, heartless, to mock a man that has just buried a wife. Yes, the second wife burying didn't kill any of them. Believe it or leave it, he didn't kill any of them. I am praying for you that you will not come under the scrutiny of the devil. You will not come under the radar of the devil. And that God will not allow the devil check you, because many of us who are, jumping from one place to the other, saying things we don't understand. See, just little thing, you fall out of faith. I'm even beginning to doubt the faith of so many people. Now, the fact that you have had experiences and you are frustrated in a certain church does not mean that every church, no, let me not talk about church. It does not mean that you should unleash your frustration to everybody. So you're looking at me now. I've also been dealt with by the church system. I've been dealt with. I've had bitter experiences at the church system. But I still believe that the church of our Lord Jesus Christ must go on. And for no reason will I think that every pastor is fake. I've seen fakes. I've seen ritualists who parade themselves as pastors. I've seen a lot. But yet, I will never in this life conclude that God has no man standing anymore. Like you, the only person standing. If you are fed up with the church system, criticize the church, criticize the things you see, like I do. Criticize the anomalies that we see. Those that we can. You don't need the witness. You don't need to dig deep. Things people say, things people act on the pulpit. I'll talk about them. Don't go beyond that. You see, unfortunately, when people are gentle, a lot of persons tend to ride over them, right? Because this is a very grave allegation coming from persons that don't know anything. Well, anyway, anybody will not be Johnson Suleiman that use police and use courts to hound people into detention and intimidate people. So everybody is free to do or say whatever they want to say. I will stop it here, but I just want you to know. One, everyone who knows and who is around church knew how the wife of the general overseer of the Lord chosen slept in the Lord. Everybody knew that. That is, those that were supposed to know, no. Secondly, there was no segregation between the rich and the poor. What you saw was that if me, my little level, would have VIP arrangements, during my mom's burial, so then how do we think that it is abnormal for a general overseer of a big church like the Chosen not to have his own privacy? The occasion that was attended by a sitting governor of a state and recently concluded election, one of the candidates, His Excellency Peter Obi, was there. And even to make it clearer, Obi Kubana is not his friend. They are not mates. They are not age mates. Obi Kubana is a business partner to the son-in-law of the pastor, who is also a member of the church. So, and these people came, when they will come, of course, they come with their kinds, they come in group. So he should not welcome them at all. He should not have a handshake with them. And I ask, how does a man who looks so subdued, like you saw in the video, how does it translate to someone that is celebrating? Well, I will stop it here. I'll come back with 2 more videos. Now, the video of his wedding to this woman that is late now has resurfaced, and everybody is cashing out on it. Fine, we'll talk about that and some of the things I heard that were said in that video about it. And then the Am Chosen challenge. I'll talk about them. Don't worry. We will talk about those things. But I just want you to be nice. Don't mock people. Even one that has shown himself to be an enemy. You know what the Bible says? It says, if your enemy is thirsty, give him water. If he is hungry, give him food. But because in so doing, you are laying heaping coals of fire on his head. And he said, don't rejoice when your enemy is going through hardship, because if you do so, it may displease the Lord and he will turn. He will remove his hand from. So if you think that these people are wicked, the way to bring the judgment of God upon them is to do good to them, show them kindness. But once more, please don't dabble into things that you don't know about. Like me or hate me, don't get involved in this kind of a thing. I have called a lot of persons out. I've criticized a lot of persons. But you don't mock someone. You don't mock someone that has gone through pains or that is going through pains. Don't you have conscience? Some of you doing that, your father is a widower. Some of you who are speaking on these things, your mother is a widow. Your mother probably is in her second marriage. Your father probably has also buried his 2 wives. Some of us doing these things, death came into our families at some point in time and people died consistently like that. Now, who was it, your father that killed them or you killed them? Somebody is even, listening now and is afraid because he doesn't even know whether he's the next person to die in the family. Now, that is how terrible sometimes it is. My uncle and my dad died within 3 months after the other. My uncle died after my dad buried him. About 3 months later, my own dad died. My cousins died. Who used them for rituals? Let us be kind. Let us be nice. And God will bless you. Listen, I've not defended anybody, but I just told you the truth. Like it or hate it, like me or hate me. It won't stop what I'm doing. That is for those of you who have sent me these messages. I will one by one settle what, talk about these things the way I am led to speak about them. Remember, I've always said, no perfect system anywhere, but don't sit on the seat of judgment and begin to dispense something you don't even know anything about. It is very, very dangerous. I leave you in peace. God bless you. See you in the next video. Till then, from me to you. Shalom.